Good afternoon and welcome to NYFP. At this noon hour, the major U.S. stock averages are in the red. The Dow has crossed below the flat line and is down by 1/4 percentage point, while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 are off by about 1/2 percentage point. Joining me now is Ben Willis of Albert Fried & Company. Ben, good afternoon and thanks for joining me.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We started out today's session in positive territory, but at this noon hour we are in the red. Now, we did get those better than expected housing starts, but all eyes are focused back on Cyprus again. And we just got some breaking news. It appears as though the finance minister of Cyprus is stepping down. So given that we're still waiting the outcome of the vote, are you concerned, and what can we expect?
Well, I'm glad the market finally has an excuse to retrace and have a bit of a pullback. Whether we want to point a finger at Cyprus or wherever we want to point a finger, I'm grateful for it, because quite frankly the market needs to have a pullback. And right now that we did get a little bit of a pop, we were lower earlier coming in pre-market, and then some good economic data about housing in the United States seemed to bring us back to the plus side. But that being said, whatever's going on, the fact of the matter, what's happening in Cyprus is despicable. It is a confiscation of private funds, and it's starting to unwind now that the Germans are behind this, and they're blackmailing the Cypriots as far as a way to get the money they need to continue to be members of the EU. So that's a great story in and of itself, but the fact of the matter is it's finally having an impact on the market, and we're starting to see a pullback that's been long coming and necessary.
And Ben, in the past when I've spoken to you about Greece, we know what your take was, but given that the economic output of Cyprus is small in the overall Eurozone, how do you think this will affect the partnerships going forward?
Well, I think it's important, and as you said, that Greece is, to me, a not very important discussion, and Cyprus is basically has the economy of Vermont. So that being said, that's not my concern. And my concern that this is not a one-off, that this is a technique that's been derived from the European Union central bankers, not the Cypriot government themselves, as a way to strong-arm the Cypriots into being a better performing partner inside the EU. Maybe they shouldn't have been a member of the EU to begin with, but whatever the case may be, this is a very ugly display of government intervention and just stealing money from the public. This is not a tax, and anybody who calls it a tax should be reprimanded for calling it that. That's akin to saying that the British imperialists were just door-to-door marketing. I mean, it's really not a very pleasant situation. They're being strong-armed into a situation, taking money from those people the idea is being spun that, well, it's only the Russian oligarchs, they're not going to miss it. This is, no matter how you slice it, this is horrible. This is not really the Greece. This is a much bigger picture, and what the EU is doing to try and stay stable.
And indeed, Ben, there has been a lot of criticism that the government is going after the depositors in this case, but we also should focus on the Fed as the central bank concludes its two-day meeting tomorrow. Not only do we get the Fed forecast and the rate decision, but we have Bernanke speaking, and this is the first time he's spoken since his semi-annual testimony. So what can we expect tomorrow?
Well, interestingly enough, from what I've seen, he plans on moving up the press conference and the Q&A to minimize the impact of the market trying to interpret what they have to say. Another step to being more transparent. I think the question will be is how well he will be able to deflect the idea of the hawks that are inside his board members now, that are saying that we need to take a better look, a closer look at pulling the punch ball away from the party on the zero rate interest. So I think that's what really the market will be focused on, is what he has to say immediately after the meeting.
Okay, Ben, well, now that we've covered some of the main headlines today, I do want to get your take on China. Now, China does have a new government in place, so what does this mean for relations between the U.S. and China?
Well, it's interesting. Now we'll see the dance that we'll do with Secretary Lew that's over there, and I think you have to give this new regime a chance. They seem to be headed in the right direction, wanting to continue to grow their economy. You can positive or negatives, but the fact of the matter is everything they've demonstrated so far seems to say they're interested in continuing to grow a market-based economy in China, and we'll have to let them work that out. I believe that's going to be the case.
Well, Ben, we'll just have to wait and see what comes out. So thank you so much for your insight, and thanks for your analysis on global headlines.
Thank you.